agreements on the sidelines. Back and forth, heated back and forth, yelling at each other.
There's a chilling and toxic environment festering on the sidelines of the Indiana Fever, and it has seemingly reached a boiling point. When a professional franchise is gifted a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, the expectation is simple: protect her, nurture her brilliance, and create an atmosphere built on trust and respect. Instead, what fans believe they are witnessing in Indiana goes far beyond questionable coaching decisions. The situation now appears to resemble a very public and uncomfortable power struggle between Clark and the coaching staff that a viral clip circulating online has intensified the controversy. In the footage, head coach Stephanie White appears to grab Clark by the arm while trying to pull her in during a sideline interaction. Clark immediately jerks her arm away, with body language many fans interpreted as frustration and irritation. Critics argue this was not an isolated moment, but part of a larger pattern involving constant tension, visible disagreements, and what some describe as a toxic Mean Girls culture surrounding the team. Supporters of Clark believe the coaching staff has repeatedly treated her more like a subordinate to control rather than a superstar to empower. The comparisons to other elite basketball players only fueled the backlash. Fans question whether coaches would ever publicly handle NBA or WNBA superstars like LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Aya Wilson in a similar manner. Many argue that elite talent is usually treated with mutual respect, not physical grabbing or public scolding. To Clark's defenders, the incident symbolizes growing jealousy, tension, and dysfunction inside the Fever organization, with some even suggesting she should eventually consider leaving Indianapolis if the environment does not improve.
I didn't see this. Caitlin Clark ripping her hand away from Stephanie White. Get your damn hands off me. Get your damn hands off me. And then Stephanie White's reaction is, hey! Get your damn hands off me. Hey! Hey! Yeah, no, get your damn hands off me. What the fuck is this? You think we're in high school? You think you're Bobby Knight? Stephanie White, you ain't fucking Bobby Knight. Sorry. You're not Bobby Knight. You couldn't even shine Bobby Knight's shoes. You couldn't even put on his socks. You couldn't even iron his clothes.
The viral sideline interaction only intensified the growing controversy surrounding the Indiana Fever. Critics pointed to Caitlin Clark's body language as a clear sign of frustration and defiance, arguing that she forcefully pulled her arm away because she had finally reached her breaking point. At the same time, many viewers interpreted head coach Stephanie White's reaction as visible anger and panic after her star player publicly rejected the interaction on national television. The moment immediately sparked heated debate online, with fans accusing White of trying to assert authority over a generational talent instead of building trust and partnership with her franchise cornerstone. The criticism did not stop there. Some commentators harshly compared White to legendary former college coach Bobby Knight, arguing that she lacked both his accomplishments and leadership stature while still attempting to use similar intimidating tactics. Detractors described White as a coach with an ego problem who was mishandling one of the biggest stars women's basketball has ever seen. To them, Clark is a player carrying unprecedented attention, ratings, and momentum into the WNBA, and they believe the organization should be empowering her rather than creating constant public tension. The backlash also expanded beyond the head coach. Critics argue that the entire coaching staff appeared to contribute to what they called a culture of intimidation and unnecessary confrontation. According to those frustrated fans, the latest viral clip was not an isolated misunderstanding, but another example in a growing pattern of uncomfortable sideline exchanges that they believe has existed since Clark first arrived in Indiana.
I remember this. Caitlin Clark doing what Caitlin Clark does, hyping up the crowd, getting the crowd rowdy. And here comes the coach. Here comes the coach, grabbing her. Why? What are we doing here? You can't show too much emotion, Caitlin. Everybody's gonna get mad at you, Caitlin. You can't show too much emotion. You're showing up everybody else. What are we doing here? You don't take the fire out of the player.
Even early in the season, critics believed there were warning signs of growing tension surrounding Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever coaching staff. Clark's natural energy and passion for the game quickly became one of the league's biggest attractions, as she constantly fired up crowds and brought a level of excitement rarely seen in women's basketball. However, some fans argued that instead of embracing that intensity, the coaching staff often appeared to restrain it. Viral moments showed coaches pulling Clark back during emotional celebrations, leading critics to claim she was being told not to display too much emotion or draw too much attention to herself, T.O. Clark supporters, that approach completely misses what makes a generational superstar special. They argue that players capable of electrifying arenas should be encouraged to lead with emotion and confidence, especially when they're carrying the energy of an entire fan base. Instead, many believe the constant interruptions and sideline corrections created unnecessary friction. As the season progressed, those frustrations appeared to grow stronger, with every game beginning to look less like normal coaching communication and more like an ongoing psychological battle between a superstar player and a staff determined to tightly control every aspect of her behavior.
Agreements on the sidelines. Back and forth, heated back and forth, yelling at each other. Stephanie White pointing, like the annoying person that she is. Just nagging.
Another intense sideline exchange involving Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White added fuel to the growing criticism surrounding the Indiana Fever coaching staff. In the viral footage, White appears visibly animated, repeatedly pointing and speaking aggressively during a heated back and forth with Clark. Critics argue the interaction looked less like constructive coaching and more like an emotional power struggle. To frustrated fans, the constant finger-pointing and public criticism came across as unnecessary micromanagement directed at one of the biggest stars women's basketball has seen in decades. They believe Clark was forced to stand there absorbing negative energy from a coaching staff that should instead be supporting and empowering her leadership on the court. The controversy deepened further when another clip involving assistant coach Briann January began circulating online. In that footage, January appears to stop Clark as she walks off the floor, grabbing her arm and turning her around before getting directly in front of her while speaking intensely and pointing her finger. Supporters of Clark viewed the moment as another example of what they describe as an overly confrontational and hostile coaching environment. According to those critics, the repeated sideline confrontations have created the perception of a staff more focused on controlling Clark than building a healthy relationship with a franchise player carrying unprecedented attention to the league.
It seems these coaches just can't help themselves. And here comes Briann January, grabbing Caitlin Clark by the arm. Let me swing you around. Let me get up all in your face. These coaches are really on one, huh? Folks, this is...
Critics of the Indiana Fever coaching staff pointed to another viral clip as further evidence of what they view as an increasingly toxic relationship with Caitlin Clark. In the footage, fans focus on the physical nature of the interaction, arguing that Clark appeared to be forcefully turned around by members of the coaching staff before pulling away once again. To many observers, the repeated grabbing and aggressive body language crossed the line from intense coaching into something far more confrontational. Supporters of Clark questioned why such physical interactions seem to happen so frequently with one of the league's biggest stars, arguing that elite athletes in professional sports are usually addressed with direct communication and mutual respect rather than public physical handling on the sidelines. The comparisons quickly spread across basketball discussions online. Fans asked whether NBA coaches like Eric Spoelstra or Steve Kerr would ever be seen aggressively grabbing stars, such as Jimmy Butler or Stephen Curry during games. Critics argued that superstar players are typically coached through conversation and collaboration, not through public displays of physical control. That debate eventually expanded into more controversial territory, with some commentators questioning why Clark appeared to be receiving this treatment more often than other players on a roster. Those accusations fueled even larger conversations online about favoritism, resentment, jealousy, and whether parts of the organization felt threatened by Clark's enormous popularity and influence over the league's rapid growth to T.O. Clark supporters. The entire situation has started to resemble an unhealthy culture built around constant criticism and control rather than trust and empowerment. They argue that Clark's talent, popularity, and ability to generate unprecedented attention for women's basketball have created tension within the organization, leading to repeated attempts to tone down her confidence and emotional energy. As more clips continue circulating online, many fans believe the sideline drama is becoming impossible for the franchise to ignore.
We all remember this from the other day. Caitlin Clark and Briann January heated on the bench again. Woo! Damn! Forgot how much fire that this clip had. Oh, damn. Yeah. Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. There's a lot of this going on. But
The latest viral sideline footage surrounding the Indiana Fever has only intensified speculation about growing tension within the organization. In one heated bench exchange, fans noticed visible frustration between Caitlin Clark and assistant coach Briann January, with many viewers describing the atmosphere as extremely uncomfortable. Supporters of Clark argued that the body language in the clip revealed a player who feels increasingly isolated within her own organization. The debate became even louder after Clark hit a deep three-pointer that electrified the crowd, only to briefly acknowledge head coach Stephanie White with a quick high five while avoiding eye contact. Critics interpret the interaction as further evidence of a fractured relationship between Clark and the coaching staff. Fans also accused the coaching staff of repeatedly disrupting Clark's momentum during games through constant substitutions and heavy micromanagement. Some even claim that White intentionally limits Clark's rhythm after big moments, although those accusations remain speculative and heavily debated online. The controversy continued into post-game press conferences, where critics argued that White often sounded reluctant to fully praise Clark's performances or publicly celebrate her resilience and impact on the team. For many supporters, this added to growing perception that Clark is not receiving the level of appreciation normally given to a player who has transformed the visibility and popularity of women's basketball. The criticism soon expanded beyond the coaching staff and toward the Fever front office, including executives like Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox. Some commentators claimed the organization intentionally rebuilt its leadership structure around established figures from previous eras in order to maintain control over Clark rather than fully embrace her as the face of the franchise. According to those critics, the organization fears Clark becoming bigger than the team itself and has struggled to adapt to the unprecedented spotlight she brings. That belief fueled speculation that the relationship between Clark and the franchise may already be damaged beyond repair as a result. Some fans have openly suggested that Clark should eventually consider leaving Indiana, either through a future trade request or by departing once her contract allows it. Supporters argue that wherever Clark goes, her fan base and media attention will follow, while the Fever risk losing the massive momentum and relevance they gained after drafting her. The viral footage has sparked non-stop debate across the basketball world, with fans divided over whether the coaching staff behavior crossed professional boundaries or whether the controversy has been exaggerated by social media and emotional reactions from Clark supporters.